press box atop Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island. CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II men's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. Today's matchup features the Bears of Bloomfield College taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Foreman bringing you all the action live during today's game. And the Dolphins come in still looking for their first victory of the season. They enter today's match with Bloomfield with an 0-4 record. The Dolphins return home for the first time since their matchup with Nyack. That match was played on Saturday, September 11th. They dropped that match 4-1. Since then, it's been a pair of defeats for the Dolphins, who fell on September 15th at Dominican by a final score of 3-1. And then in their first East Coast Conference matchup of the season, they dropped a 2-0 game to Mercy, and that brings them into this matchup with the Bloomfield College Bears. And I apologize if I sound a bit rushed, as we are about to get underway here from the College of Staten Island. Starters are being introduced out on the pitch. The national anthem is about to be played, so very quickly I will introduce the starters for both teams, beginning first with the visiting Bloomfield College Bears. In numerical order, the starters for the Bears are number 1, Robert Cornell, number 3, Remeke Brooks, number 4, Matusz Koslowski, number 9, Quincy Ball, number 10, Edgar Torres, number 11, Mattis Zagil, number 12, Ajoma Smith, number 13, Saya Yen, number 16, Nathan Reyes, number 19, Jacob Martinez, and number 20, Haitam Tuma. For the College of Staten Island, their starters in numerical order begin with their goalkeeper, 0, Bugari Sissoko, number 5, Daniel Angulo, number 7, Nilton Gonzalez, number 8, Brian Kerelu, number 10, Shane Siegel, number 11, Nicholas Kashenko, number 13, Brandon Figueroa, number 17, Leandro Angulo, number 21, Patrick Mashcut, number 23, Brian Navarro, number 25, Jamali Peterson. The Dolphins are coached by John Tardy. The associate head coach is Alex Cuba. The assistants are Sebastian Ziba and Joe Balella. Also, Albilal Adekunle Bankole and Jordan Stagmiller fill out the Dolphins coaching staff. So a robust coaching staff for the College of Staten Island. The Bloomfield College Bears are coached by Didier Orellana. So I mentioned it very quickly once we came on the air. In fact, I may have neglected to mention the fact that the Bears come in to this match against the College of Staten Island with a record of 1-3-1. Again, the Dolphins come in with a record of 0-4 in search of their first victory of the season. And I did reference a pair of matches for the Dolphins played on the road ahead of this matchup with Bloomfield College. The first was a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Dominican. And in that game, the Dolphins did pull to within 1 in the 70th minute, but that was as close as they would get in that match. A goal scored in the final seconds. 89 minutes and 10 seconds into that match put the Dolphins behind by 2. They lose that match 3-1. And alarming for the Dolphins on the stat sheet is the fact that they were outshot 18-4 against the Chargers, 10-2 in favor of Dominican in shots on goal. In the following match against Mercy, their first East Coast Conference match of the season, the Dolphins suffered the shutout 2-0. Once again, outshot 14-6 in that game, did not register a shot on goal. So with that final stat, we will take a break for just a few moments as the national anthem is played here at Dolphin Soccer Park. And when we return, Dolphins and Bears get underway from the College of Staten Island. And we are back here on the ECC network, live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island. The CSI Dolphins about to get underway against the Bloomfield College Bears. Once again, the Dolphins 0-4 on the season. The Bears 1-3-1. And on your screen, you see the Bears taking the pitch right now. They are wearing black uniforms with white piping along the shorts, and white and black mixed in checkered pattern on their sleeves. For the College of Staten Island, they are wearing their white uniforms with gray horizontal stripes and blue sleeves. Very common home kit for the College of Staten Island that we've seen them wear more than once already this year. And you see the Dolphins on your screen getting hyped up in the huddle as they get set to take their positions on the pitch. And the Bears huddled up to the right side of midfield, getting set to take on the College of Staten Island. So in case you missed it, very quickly, the starters once again for both teams. For the Bears in numerical order: number 1, Robert Cornell; number 3, Remeke Brooks; number 4, Matusz Koslowski; number 9, Quincy Ball; number 10, Edgar Torres; number 11, Mattis Ziegel; number 12, Ajoma Smith; number 13, Saya Zen; number 16, Nathan Reyes; number 19, Jacob Martinez; and number 20, Haitam Tuma. For the College of Staten Island, number 5, Daniel Angulo; number 7, Nilton Gonzalez; number 8, Brian Kerelu; number 10, Shane Siegel; number 11, Nicholas Kashenko; number 13, Brandon Figueroa; number 17, Leandro Angulo; number 21, Patrick Mashcut; number 23, Brian Navarro; number 25, Jamali Peterson; and in goal is 0, Bugari Sissoko. Jamali Peterson stands over the ball at the midfield stripe. He is ready to get things started from the College of Staten Island. Officials making us wait just a bit to get today's match started. Looks like he's having a word with a couple of Bears, and he's taking a look seemingly toward goal where the lines judge was standing on the pitch, and I think that was the delay, and not exactly sure what the lines judge was doing there, but he will move into position along the near sideline. And the whistle blows, and we are underway from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins and Bears on the ECC Network, our second home men's soccer broadcast of the 2021 season. Dolphins possess the ball first, moving it horizontally along their back line. That was Kashenko giving it up, and Gonzalez sends it up toward the far sideline. And that ball up ahead emphatically rejected by the body of a Bears defender. They now take possession, as that is Smith who is fighting for it. Bears moving in, and the Dolphins are forced to send it over the touchline. An early opportunity for Bloomfield College. That was Saya Yen who was threatening a pair of Dolphins in the box. He nearly took possession in front and had an opportunity for a shot. Instead, we have the first corner kick of the game very early. Bears to take it. This is Brooks lining up over the ball in the corner. A left-footed kicker. Whistle blew as that one sent into the middle of the box, and we play on as the Dolphins clear it out toward midfield for Peterson. Peterson chips it up in the air, still being challenged by Zen. Whistle blows, and we have a foul call against Peterson and the Dolphins. It will be a free kick to be taken once again by Brooks. As Brooks sends it over to Koslowski. Sends it over to Torres, nearly taken away by Peterson. He almost closed that distance in time. As a whistle blows just beyond midfield, that foul against Bloomfield. Brandon Figueroa draws the call as the Dolphins get play started once again very quickly. This is Shane Siegel. Siegel working against Brooks in the corner as he sends one in toward the middle of the box. Peterson off the deflection, heads it off of the crossbar, and the Dolphins with an early opportunity. What a job there by Peterson after that ball was initially deflected to get ahead on it over the outstretched arm of the keeper, Cornell, but off of the crossbar. And the Dolphins, with their first shot early in this match, they maintain possession here, working along the far sideline. A pair of Bears challenging, and that ball traveled over the touchline. So a lot of action early in this game. The Bears nearly taking possession in the box from the Dolphins and getting a shot, but the Dolphins were able to clear, resulting in the corner. And then right there, CSI with the header off of the crossbar. That ball travels beyond midfield into the neutral zone off the foot of Zagil. Off the head of a Dolphin right there, and whistle blows. We may have had a handball called there. It will be a free kick for Bloomfield. Can ask for a much more exciting start with the exception of an early goal, but both teams with some strong attacking play early. not to be lost on that header by Peterson. It was a good ball from Siegel to set him up in front, partially deflected by a Bear, which allowed Peterson to settle underneath it and get the head on it. Free kick toward the center of the box, and that one just over the head of Quincy Ball. This is Kashenko for CSI. Sends it over to Gonzalez. Gonzalez sends one off the back heel of his defender, and he got right back to challenge Quincy Ball, who may have had the wind knocked out of him on the play, at least based upon his reaction. That seems to be the case. Ball a bit slow to get up. Play continues with Kashenko for Figueroa. That one was knocked down by Majcut, and the Bears took possession. Here comes Zagil. That's Ball. And Ball sent it back to Reyes, forcing Bugari Sissoko to make his first save of the afternoon. That one may have hit the post if it got by Sissoko, but a shot on goal for Bloomfield nonetheless. As that ball finds the foot of swimming and diving head coach Mike Akalaitis along the near sideline. That's Angulo attempting the header, and a foul will be called on Angulo. He gets a talking to from the official, and he was forced to scramble back into position on defense, as that was Martinez giving chase in the corner for Bloomfield. Majcut came away with it. Now Angulo for Figueroa. That one rolling away from Figueroa. Sliding tackle, not enough to keep possession with the Dolphins. Opportunity here for Ball, and he is offsides. And I think he knew it based upon his reaction. Not much of a celebration after he put that one by Sissoko. And I can't understate the importance of an emphatic whistle up here in the booth, as it's not always easy to spot those offside calls ahead of what would have been a Bloomfield goal had it not been for the whistle, but a good job by the lines judge along the far sideline, making a clear call for me up here in the press box. Dolphins with it along the far sideline. That was Keralou who had it. He gave it up to Majcut, who finds Kashenko. Kashenko to Navarro. Navarro looking to work past midfield. That pass intended for Angulo was intercepted by the Bears. This is Zagil working against a trio of Dolphins. He gives it up to Smith. Smith against Figueroa. Back to Brooks. And up to Zen. Zen was looking for Ball, and Dolphins got a foot on it. That was Angulo who interrupted that pass attempt. Throw in for Bloomfield to be taken by Brooks. Brooks for Zen, working against Siegel. Two players get tied up, and Zen wins possession, but the pass right there from Reyes was a bit off target. That allows Siegel to make the outlet pass up to Peterson, who is fouled. Free kick for the Dolphins to be taken by Leandro Angulo. And Angulo continues to wait over the ball. Right-footed free kick sent toward the middle of the box, lands just shy of the dot. And it's cleared away by the Bears as that pass right on target for Ball, but Kashenko was waiting. Good ball there from Smith, but Kashenko with a better job defensively as Siegel redirects it back to Angulo. Angulo for Peterson. Off the chest to Navarro, and Navarro had the right idea. He was trying to send it right back to Peterson, who would have had space to work with, but a good play defensively by the Bears to come up with possession as three Dolphins challenging Smith. The ball travels over the near sideline. It will be a Bloomfield throw-in. This is Koslowski. Sends it back to his keeper, Cornell. Peterson moving in toward the box, but Cornell able to get it away as that one misplayed off the foot, giving Siegel a chance. That ball is deflected on goal and saved by Cornell. That was almost a costly mistake by Tuma, who turned the ball over right at the top of the box, and Shane Siegel took advantage of that turnover with the shot. A deflection in front did not result in that shot being blocked. Instead, redirecting it on goal was the deflection, and Cornell with an easy save as there wasn't much behind it once a body made contact with that ball, as that pass intended for Peterson intercepted, and the Bears look to work back toward midfield. That's Tuma, who gets by Navarro and sends it up to Zen. Zen crosses midfield. Zen into the attacking third. This is Smith working against Angulo, trying to move inside, and that shot is high. Not a bad effort from Smith from that distance, working against a marker. And he sends it over the crossbar. Dolphins goal kick upcoming. That goal kick sent up toward the far sideline for Matchcut. Matchcut into the center of the pitch for Angulo. Angulo up to Angulo. Daniel to Leandro, no relation. Siegel looking for Angulo, can't find him. And he tries to make a nifty move with the ball there, dribbling into the spin. He's dispossessed. That springs the Bears forward on the attack as we have a collision right there between Quincy Ball and Nilton Gonzalez. And Gonzalez seems to be worse for wear as he is down on the pitch. The whistle blows. The clock stops. Gonzalez to his feet. Trainer not waved onto the pitch. And it looks like play will resume with the Bears throwing. Brooks awaiting his opportunity to take the throw-in, and he finds Ball. Ball was looking for Zen, but the Dolphins well aware of where Zen was on the pitch, and Angulo with another deflection of that pass there, and that leads Bloomfield to send it all the way back to their keeper. Cornell with a long ball up towards Seguil. Seguil working against Gonzalez in the back, and Gonzalez shielding him off the ball, which allows Sissoko to come up with it. We saw Omer Hamzazebi get a couple of starts for the Dolphins early in the season, but I think it's been Sissoko now for the last 3 matches in net for CSI, as that's headed up in the air by Koslowski, and it'll be a CSI throw-in. That was Figueroa redirecting toward Angulo, and Angulo sends it over the touchline. Brooks to throw. Going from Brooks to Reyes. Right back with Brooks, and now Reyes again. That's Koslowski for Reyes. And the Dolphins forcing a costly turnover perhaps as Matchcut couldn't keep possession. Good recovery there by Tuma. That's the second time Tuma has been involved in a turnover right at the top of the box, and the Dolphins were unable to get a shot off of that one as that's Navarro. Navarro dispossessed, and Tuma able to clear up towards Smith. But Angulo takes it away from him, now finds Peterson. Angulo joins the rush as Peterson beats his marker. Able to recover was Koslowski, but Peterson able to send that ball in toward goal, but high and wide as that one was never within the boundary formed by the goal line, and it'll be a goal kick for Cornell and the Bears. 32 minutes to play here in the first half, and a lot of action early on in this game. as that's headed toward midfield by Brooks. It was redirected by Ball, but the Dolphins come away with it. This is Angulo. Angulo for Majcut, who is giving chase along with Martinez. Majcut gets there. He's being boxed into the corner, but retreats in the other direction, is able to escape. This is Carolou. Carolou for Majcut. Majcut makes a break for the corner. Zen now working alongside Martinez to challenge, and he takes it away, which will allow the Bears to regroup. Torres for Ball, who redirects it with the head. It's up in the air right now. Tuma is the first to arrive there for the Bears, but the Dolphins have it once again. This is Kashenko for Angulo. Back to Kashenko. Kashenko sends one toward the box for Majcut. It's headed up in the air by Torres. That one chipped toward goal harmlessly by Carolou, and Cornell has it for the Bears. Cornell dribbling it like a basketball right now as he motions for his teammates to move up the pitch. Long punt by the Bears keeper, and two teams will fight for it in the midfield right now, as that was Leandro Angulo over the back of Ajoma Smith, and it's the Bears that come away with it, but that ball off the foot of Zen too long, and he did have a chance to play Ajoma Smith with that ball over the top of the Dolphins defense, but Smith knew immediately it was too long, as did Zen. You could see him place his face in the palms out of frustration with himself, as now the Dolphins will possess. Siegel for Angulo. Angulo up to Peterson, redirected towards Siegel. That's Navarro up to Peterson, and the Dolphins moving forward quickly. Peterson sends one into the box, and Siegel was just a bit too late, as if that ball is about a second later, Shane Siegel is in position to receive it. This is Majcut for Angulo, and Angulo's redirection is taken away by the Bears. Here comes Zen. This is now Smith, and once again a strong challenge by Leandro Angulo to take the ball away. Good work by Angulo in the midfield defensively, as that's Brooks for Zen. Bears will try and cross midfield once again, but that ball is too long for Smith. Second time I've said that in the last couple of minutes, as Kashenko dribbles toward the outside of the box and passes up to Figueroa. Figueroa for Angulo. Angulo looking to play Siegel past Brooks, but a nice sliding attempt there by Brooks to knock the ball out of bounds. And the official has stopped the clock, as behind the play, that is Ajoma Smith who's down. I didn't see what happened, and I don't want to speculate, but it looks like he was grabbing at the back of one of his legs. He's to his feet without a problem. And the Dolphins had possession moving toward the attacking third when the whistle was blown. Not typically when you see that whistle come in, as looks like Randy Otu will check in for Smith. 28:41 on the clock. That appeared to be a tough break for the Dolphins, but Otu will check in, and CSI awarded a free kick off of the stoppage. Angulo for Figueroa off of the free kick. Figueroa was looking for somewhere to go with it, and the ball winds up with Kashenko. Kashenko for Daniel Angulo, and back to Kashenko. Kashenko might be looking to play it long. Instead, go short to Figueroa. This is Gonzalez. Gonzalez up toward Majcut. Deadens that ball well and sends one into the box, but waiting for it was Koslowski. It's headed up in the air by Gonzalez and knocked down with the body by Figueroa. Looks like the Bears will win possession. They do. That's Torres for his keeper, Cornell. Cornell up to Brooks. That ball right on target. As Zen moves toward midfield and gives it back to Brooks. Brooks and Ball on the run. This is Ball, who is played through. He sends one toward the far post. Has a man. That is put on goal and in. A great run along the far post to set up that Bears goal. And with the goal, it is Matisse Zagil to put Bloomfield College in front 1-0. And a great run by Zagil to go along with a great ball from Ball. A great ball from Ball sets up Zagil, and Bloomfield College takes a 1-0 lead with 27:32 to play in the first half. For Zagil, that is his second goal of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I unfortunately don't have the headers atop the statistics for Zagil. But for Matisse, he registers the first score of this afternoon's match and puts his team ahead by 1. Dolphins with possession for a moment as we have a foul called just on the edge of the midfield circle. I think that's Figueroa who's down for CSI. Clock is still running. And Figueroa is back to his feet. Appears to be okay. Dolphins will be the recipient of a free kick when the action resumes. And I'm going to pull up the full stats for the Bears in just a moment to ensure I have the goal tally on the season for Zagil correct. The assist went to Ball on that Bears goal, as I mentioned before. I'll have his assist numbers in a moment as well, as this will be a throw-in for CSI. So for Ball, that assist is his first of the year. And for Zagil, that goal is his second. So I was correct for Matisse Zagil. That is his second goal of the year. The assist, the first for Ball. That's Majcut sending it up in the air toward the top of the box. And we have a whistle. Foul called, and it's against the Dolphins. That ball sent long, right on target. It appeared for Zen, but a little bit too long. Whistle blows once again. And we have a substitution for Bloomfield. It will be Isaac Levi Rodriguez checking in. He's replacing Haitam Tuma. Dolphins trailing 1-0, and for CSI, only a pair of goals on the season through 4 matches. A 1-goal effort at home against Nyack, and then another 1-goal effort on the road at Dominican. Not what we're used to seeing from this Dolphins club. Typically a very prolific attack for CSI, but with the transition to Division II. They are undoubtedly facing the toughest competition they've ever seen. As once again, it's the Bears on the attack, and that is saved by Sissoko. Shot there by Zen from the center of the box, and the Dolphins will clear. This is Brooks. And that was Reyes sending it back to 0-2 near midfield. Now Torres. Torres for Koslowski. Up to Rodriguez, who just checked in. He promptly turns it over as Angulo got a foot on it. And Figueroa won possession for the Dolphins as that one's redirected right back to the Bears by Mashcut. As it will roll toward the far sideline, sent into the box by Martinez and played out of the air by Sissoko. As we have a yellow card issued on the play, and that yellow card was shown to Nilton Gonzalez of CSI. That yellow seemingly out of nowhere. I didn't see where the foul occurred, but nonetheless, a yellow card for Gonzalez, his first. Sissoko to punt. That one tailing toward the near sideline, kept in by Leandro Angulo, headed by 0-2, and this is Peterson who comes away with possession. Peterson for Mashcut. Mashcut working against Martinez. He finds Angulo. Angulo's shot is wide. The Dolphins captain with a good scoring chance and a good effort on goal, or I should say just wide of goal. As Cornell had no chance to save it if that one was tucked inside of that far post, but fortunately for the Bears, Angulo's attempt was wide. 22 minutes to go in the first half. Goal kick upcoming for the Bears. Once again, they play it short. Dolphins pressing in the box, and they are able to clear. They being Bloomfield, of course, as this is Zen moving across midfield. That ball played up toward Rodriguez, and we have a soccer ball in the press box. Wow. I have to say, I am absolutely shocked to see it. That one into the window to my left. The press box divided into two separate rooms. I would say we are about, what do you say, Joe, maybe 50 feet above field level? That ball found its way in on the clearance. Sal, our statistician, almost taken out. Laptops in harm's way as well, as now once again Zen in a scoring position, and his shot for the second time in as many minutes is saved by Sissoko. Whistle blows. And I think we have a corner coming up. We do. Aiden Sawcheck checked in for CSI in place of Nilton Gonzalez a couple of minutes ago as well. And I neglected to mention that substitution amidst the action. But Sawcheck for Gonzalez for Staten Island. As Brooks takes the corner toward the far post, and 0-2 could not get a foot on it. I'm not sure it would have mattered, as that one was right along the touchline. Perhaps he could have redirected in front, but I don't think a shot was going to come of that corner kick attempt. Goal kick for Sissoko and the Dolphins. They trail 1-0 inside of 20 minutes to play in the first half. Low line drive on the goal kick by Sissoko. As the rest of our crew for today's game continues to discuss that ball that came into the booth. Statistician Sal insists he would have had it if he was paying attention. Not quite so sure he had his head up, as I watched it take him by surprise, and whistle blows once again, and possession will belong to the Bears following this kick from goal. Cornell waving his team up the pitch, it appears. And that is indeed what was going on, is he is waiting for some of his backs to get moving before he takes this kick. Clock continues to wind down. Inside of 18:30 to play now in the first half. And another long ball from Cornell. Dolphins challenging for possession as the Bears work it back into the middle third. This is 0-2 for Koslowski. Up to Brooks. And Brooks couldn't keep it in with the body. Saw check to throw for Staten Island. Samuel Gonzaga entered the game as well for CSI. I missed that substitution as well. Taking a look, Gonzaga came in for Leandro Angulo, taking his spot in the midfield. As a foul is called against Bloomfield, free kick for Staten Island, and it was a long day for Angulo at home last time. The Dolphins took the pitch here at Dolphin Soccer Park, and he played the full 90 minutes. Actually, that might be Angulo right there over the ball, so that's my mistake, as Angulo changes positions. He's still in. So I'll have to keep looking to find out who Gonzaga replaced. And Kushenko lost his footing over the ball, and he has a nice stain on the back of that uniform now. Whistle on the challenge by Gonzaga, and he's called for the foul. So it was Shane Siegel who was replaced by Gonzaga. Angulo moves from the midfield into the back, with Gonzalez coming off the pitch, and Gonzaga moves into the midfield spot as Cornell rockets another one way up the pitch. And this one will roll all the way to the touchline, where Sissoko will stop it, and Angulo will get the attack started for CSI. Angulo for Kerelu. And back to Angulo. Dolphins taking their time. Moving east to west with that last pass for Kushenko. And Kushenko will send it long. Peterson parked underneath it. And, oh boy, that one just clears that first row of vehicles, and that is not where you want to be parked. And our camera operator, Sean Fitzpatrick, owning one of those two vehicles that saw that ball come within a few feet of perhaps taking out another windshield. We've already had one staffer lose a windshield to a soccer ball earlier this year, and as Joe enters the booth once again, he knows very well not to park in that front row, as the ball just clearing the cars right along the fence. Bears with it along the far sideline. It's chipped up in the air for Angulo. And the Bears once again have possession, crossing midfield, but they don't get very far, as Martinez couldn't keep that ball in along the far sideline. Throw for CSI. This is Angulo for Kushenko. Up toward Gonzaga, but that ball off target. Navarro was also in the area for Staten Island. This is Koslowski for Bloomfield. Sends it up to Zagil. Knocked down with the body by Ball, but Kushenko takes it away quickly. And I think I might have missed another Dolphin substitution, as I think that is number 14, Stephen Branco, working along the far sideline as Peterson sends one on goal, and it's saved by Cornell. And that is Branco up there at the forward spot. I should say in the midfielder spot. Working along that far sideline on that last attack. So Branco checked in for Staten Island. And not sure how I missed that one, as Sawcheck and Rodriguez were working deep in the Bears attacking third. And it's a goal kick for CSI after the substitution. Michael Rofale takes the pitch in place of Bryant Navarro. CSI moving toward midfield. That's Carolou for Angulo. This is Rofale with his first touch. Nice breeze all afternoon here at the College of Staten Island. We were working the last match, women's soccer, 1 week ago in stifling heat. A much more comfortable afternoon 1 week later, and I think part of it is our start time. This game getting underway at 4 p.m. as opposed to 3 p.m. last week. Speaking of 3 p.m. starts for women's soccer, they did have a 3 p.m. match this afternoon. That match being played at Georgian Court. We should have a final score within the next 20 minutes in that match. Well, the news from Georgian Court, not good for CSI. They are down multiple goals in the closing minutes of that match. If I'm not mistaken, for the women, that would drop them to 1-5 on the season. Make it 1-6. Their next match to be played here at home against Queens takes place this Saturday, a Queens home match. Unless something changes, and I'm informed of those changes, to my knowledge right now, we will not have the call of that Saturday match here on Sportsnet. It will be streamed on the ECC network, however, though as of right now, I don't believe we will be on the call Saturday. Instead, a live video stream via the ECC network. So you can catch that match, as that is sent into the box by Branco and immediately cleared away by the Bears. Brendan McGuire checking in for the Dolphins in place of Jamali Peterson, and waiting to check in for Bloomfield and taking the pitch right now will be Jeffrey Rodriguez. Rodriguez for Ball and McGuire for Peterson with 10:30 to play in the first half. That's Rofale for Sawcheck, and looks like the wind may have taken that ball a little bit. Wind blowing right to left right now. That was Carolou who deflected it off the chest toward Branco, and the Bears aggressively challenging, and the Dolphins scrambling to maintain possession, sent it over the touchline. We're now inside of 10 minutes to go in half number one. Two teams fighting for possession in the midfield. Dolphins come away with it, and the flag goes up. No hesitation from the lines judge along the near sideline, as McGuire was offsides. Cornell to take the free kick following the offsides call. Bears once again being pressured by the Dolphins as Rofale closed that space seemingly out of nowhere, and I think that's Torres who went down over the ball. Getting tripped up was McGuire, and a foul is called as Torres just parked himself on top of the ball, and you can't do that. That will award the Dolphins a free kick. It's taken very quickly and short. And I'm not sure that was a free kick, because I can't imagine the Dolphins wouldn't have tried to send that one into the box. Malik Idris checking in for the Bears following that last whistle. It's Idris for Jacob Martinez at 8:15 to play in the first half. That's Seguil giving chase once again, and Sissoko is there. 4 shots on goal for Bloomfield in the first half, 3 for Staten Island. A pair of corner kicks in the match, both belonging to the Bears. During what was an extremely brief pregame, and we apologize for that, had some technical difficulties with our stats up here in the booth that forced us to scramble and get on the air a bit late. But in a very abbreviated pregame, I mentioned the shot disparity against the Dolphins in their matches so far this year. Especially notable in shots on goal, where they had none in their match at Mercy. 14-6 in shots overall against the Dolphins. But that's something that I know head coach John Tardy and this team want to see corrected. They need more scoring chances. A team that is accustomed to scoring in bunches. But that just hasn't been the case so far this season. This first half has been much better in that regard, as that's a nasty collision in the air, and immediately the whistle blows, and whenever there's the potential for a head injury, play will be stopped, and a yellow card is issued on the play as well. And it appeared McGuire certainly got the worst of that collision. I can see how a foul was called there against Torres, but had the card not been issued, I would not have been surprised, as both players were making a play on the ball. And I can't remember the last time I saw the official officiating here at the College of Staten Island anyway spray paint the line on the pitch for the free kick taker and the wall, but the official does just that ahead of this Dolphins free kick. McGuire to take it. 3-man wall for the Bears. All but 2 Dolphins lined up along the top of the box. And McGuire sends one into orbit, as that one nearly found the trunk of my car parked near the woods, and it will be a free kick for Bloomfield. And if you're the Dolphins, you would have liked to make a bit more out of that free kick, and at the very least tally a shot on goal, as that shot from McGuire was well high. McGuire continuing the theme of the Dolphins pressing whenever the ball is with Cornell, the Bears keeper, as that's redirected for Angulo, and Angulo's ball intercepted by the Bears, and they look to counter quickly, but Kerelu, having none of it, intercepts that pass intended for Seguil. Seguil up to Angulo. Angulo's ball for McGuire was knocked away by Koslowski. Whistle blows, and I think we have a foul call against the Dolphins. And we do. So a free kick for Bloomfield inside of 6 minutes to play in the first half. And looks like Dennis Coticelli is making his way to midfield, and we'll check in at the next chance. Long ball off the free kick headed by Angulo toward Branco. Daniel Angulo heads. And it's onto the foot of Idris, who can't keep it in. And here comes Coticelli. He will replace Brandon Figueroa. So Coticelli for Figueroa with just over 5 to play in the first half. Dolphins trail 1-0. Throw in for CSI. Taken by Sawcheck. Carolou finds Rofale. Rofale sends it toward the near sideline. First touch for Codicelli. And his first pass, not a good one for Gonzaga, as that travels out of play. Codicelli and Gonzaga connected on the Dolphins' goal at Dominican. It was Gonzaga scoring it, Codicelli with the assist. And the Bears now moving to the attacking third with an opportunity. That looked like a shot attempt by Reyes. It was blocked. Here comes Rofale being challenged by a pair of Bears, and he gives it up to Carolou. Carolou for Kishenko. And Kishenko sends it over to Codicelli. Codicelli moves across midfield, and that ball deflected. Throw in for the Dolphins to be taken by Codicelli. He sends it into McGuire. And McGuire is dispossessed by Otu. Otu for Zagil, and the Dolphins with the sliding tackle able to keep it away from the Bears, and they will look to attack once again. Sawcheck for Rofale. This is Carolou. Carolou back to Angulo for Kishenko. Kishenko to Rofale and back to Kishenko, now Angulo. Dolphins with a lot of short, quick passes here. As Carolou sends it over to Sawcheck. Sawcheck into the box. Codicelli is there. It's headed up in the air by Brooks, and a good defensive play there by Brooks. He knew where Codicelli was and had himself in good position to shield Codicelli away from that ball. We are now inside of 3 minutes to play in half number one. Here comes Zen. Zen across midfield. Up to Rodriguez, and that ball was intercepted by Codicelli. As Rofale is fouled, and the foul will draw the yellow as Brooks came in and tried to send that ball toward the Dolphins' goal, and Rofale was seated on the pitch. He took that ball right off the knee. The foul against Zagil, and he draws the yellow. So with that, we've now seen 3 yellow cards in this first half. 2:20 to play. Angulo towards Sawcheck. Sawcheck for Rofale. Rofale dribbles toward the attacking third. He's in, looking for Gonzaga, and the Bears intercept. Here comes Zen. Zen turns quickly and nearly got by Codicelli, but a good defensive play by Dennis to stay in position. This is Rodriguez moving in, and he's fouled. Let out an audible scream as he went down to the pitch. He certainly sold it, but foul appeared to be the right call as Rodriguez all smiles after he gets up. And it will be either Koslowski, Zagil, or Zen to take the free kick. And right now, Zen and Koslowski lined up over the ball. Zen standing closest to it. He now backs up, gives way to Koslowski, and Koslowski's shot is blocked by the wall. That one sent toward the near post, and Sissoko is there.
1 minute remaining in the first half. 1 minute.
Final minute of the first half. Score still 1-0. As that one is sent across midfield. Dolphins nearly got there in time for one last attack, but McGuire and Gonzaga a bit late as the Bears still facing that Dolphins press, and Cornell with another big boot out across midfield to escape it. Here's Angulo. That was Branco who got a foot on it, but it winds up with Torres. Torres for Zagil. That's Rodriguez. Now Zen. 15 seconds to go in the half. Here comes Zen, And that one was sent right into the middle of the box and headed away by Sawchek. One more ball into the middle of the box, cleared again by Sawchek, and that will do it for the first half. Our score at the break, 1-0 in favor of Bloomfield College. When we come back, we'll recap the first half and look ahead towards half number 2. This is NCAA Division II men's soccer, CSI Sportsnet live coverage on the ECC network.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we're back here on the ECC network. Less than 20 seconds to go until the start of half number 2 between the Dolphins and the Bears. The College of Staten Island still in search of their first win of the season, and Bloomfield with a 1-0 lead, looking for their second victory of the 2021 campaign. And for the Dolphins at the half, they trail in shots on goal 4-3 and in corner kicks 2-0, as I mentioned, just before the first half came to a close. And unfortunately, because of a technical glitch up here in the booth, I do not have a printout with all of the first half stats. But after a pretty fast-paced start to this game, things really slowed down following that Bears goal. Not much action beyond that, though. Bugari Sissoko did have to make a couple of saves on shots by Saya Zen. Zen getting into the middle of the box on more than one occasion and challenging the Dolphins keeper, but Sissoko was up to the task. So in the second half, it will be the Bears possessing first and moving from left to right on the attack on your screen. The Dolphins now on the right side of your screen. They'll be moving right to left on the attack. And for the Dolphins, taking a look at the 2 goals they have scored this season, both came in the second half of games. Of course, the most recent one against the Chargers of Dominican. That was 2 matches ago. That goal scored in the 70th minute and was a freshman connection between Dennis Cotticelli and Samuel Gonzaga, as I spoke about when the pair checked in during the first half. Shane Siegel, who got the start for the Dolphins this afternoon, registered CSI's first goal of the year. That was against Tenayac in the Dolphins' home opener. Siegel did get the start, but is on the bench right now to open the second half. And trying to take a quick look, see if I can eyeball the Dolphins out there on the pitch. If I know the team well enough, I see Mashcut, Peterson, Keralou, Angulo, Rofale, Boljabasic, Leandro Angulo, Sawchek, and Cotticelli. I think that's 11, along with the goalkeeper, Sissoko, for Staten Island. Unfortunately, I don't know the Bears roster that well to eyeball every player out there, but I'm trying to get a look and see if anyone has checked in for the first time, and I don't believe that is the case. Looks like much the same group that closed out the first half, with one addition. I think that's Robert Sparrow along the far sideline. He checks in for the first time. So Sparrow working near the top of your screen in the midfield, getting his first action of the match. This is Leandro Angulo for Staten Island. Gave it up to Rofale and received it right back. That was Kishenko for Angulo, and it winds up back with Sissoko. Sissoko to Angulo. And he's able to find Rofail through some traffic, but Sawcheck couldn't keep that ball in. Throw in off the foot of Ball, and the Dolphins will take possession. Sissoko for Rofail. That's Codicelli. Now Carolou. Carolou goes down on the challenge and draws the foul. Free kick for the Dolphins just beyond midfield. This is Rofail, and he's challenged hard by Sparrow. He didn't like the whistle, and he does not get a talking to from the official. I thought he might, but instead it will be another Dolphins free kick. That's sent toward the top of the box, headed away by Rodriguez. Two teams converging on the ball in midfield, and now Angulo and Ball giving chase, and Ball is flagged for offsides. This is Bolja Basic. Sent it to Carolou and received it right back. Now Rofail sends it back to Bolja Basic, and he might be looking to go long with this ball as that's redirected by Carolou down toward the corner where there is no Dolphin in sight. This is Koslowski. And foul is called once again against the Bears. So a trio of early foul calls against Bloomfield early in the second half. And Sparrow got a foot on it, and that will result in a corner. Robert Sparrow seems to have a lot of pent-up energy as he's already committed a foul and a hard challenge, and he came right in and swung his foot at that ball off the foot of a Dolphin and sent it over the fence to concede the corner, the first Dolphins corner of this match. Dolphins look to send it in from a few yards out of the box instead of from the corner as Daniel Angulo is challenged in the corner. 0-2 working against him defensively, and once again, the Bears will concede a corner. So very quickly, the Dolphins even up the corner kick tally at 2 apiece. This one is sent into the box. Long corner, and it's headed out of play by Brooks. Sawcheck to throw in. He finds Peterson and gets it right back off Peterson's chest. Good play there by Bolja Basic to try and keep possession with the Dolphins. And looks like he might have been successful for a couple of moments, but the Bears take it back. Rodriguez tried to split a pair of Dolphins with that pass. CSI has it. Mashcut moving backwards, and that's an aggressive challenge there by 0-2, and Mashcut went down awkwardly. 0-2 making sure he's okay, but two players got tangled up in a very awkward spot, and 0-2 looked to land across Mashcut's back. But Patrick jogs away and appears fine. As Angulo takes the free kick, he sent it over to Kashenko. Still sporting that large dirt stain on his left shoulder from when he tumbled over the ball along the near sideline and landed in the grass off the pitch. Inside of 40 minutes to play in this match, Dolphins trail by a goal. 0-2 sends it up to Idris. This is Rodriguez giving chase, and with a good touch there, plays it up ahead. And Angulo with an even better defensive play, as I thought Angulo might have deflected it over the touchline, but instead he deflected it off of Rodriguez and over the touchline. So great job there by Angulo. Angulo for Peterson. That is over Jamali's head, but he is in hot pursuit of Edgar Torres. And that pressure earns the Dolphins another corner kick. So CSI now leads in corners 3-2. Haven't made much of their first 2 corner kick attempts. We'll look to change that here. Still about 4 Dolphins who aren't even positioned in the box. And that's because the Dolphins aren't sending it into the box. And I think that alignment gave it away. As that's chipped toward the middle of the box by Bolja Basic. And Kashenko was in great position to head that one on goal, but he was offsides, and the flag went up right away. And the Dolphins look to take full advantage of the 6'4" Nicholas Kashenko, and it nearly paid off. As looking down this Dolphins roster, the Dolphins are not a very big team. As Angulo sends that one toward goal, but it's well wide, and Cornell has it. And not many 6-footers on this Dolphins roster. 2 of their 6-footers are goalkeepers. And taking a quick look down the CSI roster, only 4 players exceeding 6 feet tall on what is a very large Dolphins roster. And not sure it's any larger than the typical men's soccer roster, but a lot of names on this official roster sheet and not many players listed over 6 feet. Throw in to the Bears here. Brooks to take it. He finds Ball on the throw. Dolphins there to challenge, and the flag signaling that it was a Bears advantage, and it looked like Bloomfield had possession, but instead it's going to be a throw. So that was the whistle and the flag signaling a throw and not a foul. As O2 plays it up ahead to Brooks. Brooks and Cotticelli meet at the ball, and it's deflected out of play off of Cotticelli. A pair of number 3s converging on that ball. As Brooks looks to direct traffic ahead of this throw-in. He might be throwing this one toward the center of the box, and he does for Ball, who heads it right back to him. And I think that was the setup to try and get what essentially amounted to a corner kick opportunity for Brooks, set up along the far sideline, and Dolphins did a nice job to shut it down. Here comes Matchcut. Matchcut crosses midfield. Zagil is right behind him, and he is able to dispossess the Dolphins, as now Gonzaga, I should say Angulo and Ball were giving chase, and good job by Angulo to clear. He's done some great work defensively for the Dolphins. Zagil was working against Cotticelli there. Branco gets shoved down, or I should say Carolou gets shoved down. Play continues as Carolou looks to send the Dolphins forward on the attack. Here comes Rofale. Fans starting to make some noise as Peterson is through. He has some space and fires a shot high and wide. And Jamali Peterson with the best scoring chance of the second half for either team. If I'm not mistaken, that's our first shot of this second half. And Cornell will take his time ahead of this goal kick. 35 minutes on the clock. That's Bolja Basic for Matchcut. Matchcut moving toward the middle of the pitch. He finds Rofale. Rofale to Bolja Basic. Bolja Basic switches play to the far sideline for Cotticelli. Good challenge there by Brooks. Dolphins throw-in is the result. Throw in for Angulo. This is Carolou with the cross. Peterson is there, but looks to turn, and a good attempt there by Jamali Peterson. A nice move there to chip it up in the air to himself, allowing him to turn and fire toward goal, but That shot didn't have much behind it. It appeared as if he may have been attempting to chip it over the keeper, but Cornell was positioned fairly close to the goal line. And I'm not sure a chip attempt was going to get by him, even if it was perfectly placed. Another long goal kick by Cornell. This one across the midfield stripe. Sparrow was there, but he's met by a pair of Dolphins. Codicelli once again challenged on the sliding tackle by Brooks. This time, the sliding tackle wins possession for Bloomfield, but they promptly turn it over as Mashcut nearly lost his footing in the midfield. He comes away with it, and I'm not sure Carolou was ready as we have another whistle. Mashcut goes down again. He's been down a couple of times in the second half, as Sissoko launched one. That was quite unnecessary as they did have a ball. I'm not sure how that ball wound up on the field. Kishenko and Rofal lined up near the ball, and Kishenko gives way to Rofal. Rofal sends one way high. We've seen a couple of those already where the Dolphins have had free kick opportunities and then sent the ball well above the crossbar, not really giving themselves a chance to do anything with those set pieces. Nathan Reyes will check back in, replacing Remeke Brooks. Brooks has been very active in this match, most recently on a pair of challenges. As this is Sparrow against Codicelli, and Sparrow lost his footing amid the hand fighting between he and Codicelli. Bolja Basic is stifled in the midfield, and here come the Bears. That ball for Ball, and Sissoko scoops it up off of the slide. Immediately throws for Mashcut. Mashcut to Bolja Basic, up to Angulo, redirected toward Mashcut. It winds up back with Bolja Basic. This is Sawchek over to Angulo. Angulo for Kishenko. Kishenko up to Carolou. Now Codicelli to Bolja Basic. Dangerous pass, and Zagil got a foot on it. Bears take possession. This is Zagil. Sliding tackle by Bolja Basic. This possesses him. He's still fighting for it, but Carolou wins that ball. Carolou up to Peterson. Cornell coming out, and he got there just in time. If Peterson gets there first, anything can happen, and we've seen Jamali's speed on full display in our first two home matches of the season. Good ball there from Peterson. Mashcut waits for it to come down. Sends it through the legs of Idris, but he had help, and that one is cleared away emphatically by the Bears. Another corner kick for the Dolphins. Mashcut to take it as we approach 30 minutes to go in this match. That ball sent toward the far post, and it is sent just wide, apparently off of a Bear. Cornell came out too far, and the Bears nearly committing the cardinal sin of sending the ball into their own net. I'm not sure it gets any worse than that if you're Bloomfield, especially with the shutout still intact and only a one-goal lead. Another corner, this time taken by Rofal. Toward the far post, headed by Kishenko and in. The 6'4" Dolphins defender moving into the box for that set piece, and he heads it in along the far post, sending it behind Robert Cornell. And Kishenko, with his first goal of the season, evens up the score at 1 apiece. I mentioned his presence in the box on the Dolphins' corner kick before, and Staten Island taking full advantage of their defender's stature to register their first of the match We are even at 1-1. And you could see it throughout the first 15 minutes of play in the second half. The Dolphins were knocking on the door, and they finally convert. In the 61st minute, Rofel to Kashenko on the corner kick. Kashenko with the header, and the Dolphins have evened up the score. Dolphins fans finally given a reason to make some noise here at the College of Staten Island, as the Bears really haven't had much going for them in the way of attacking play early in the second half. And Dolphins quickly turning them aside on that chance. Good ball from Mashcut up to Angulo. Angulo being challenged by Idris. Angulo running out of space in the corner. He sends one toward Peterson, and that's cleared away. This is 0-2. His pass intercepted by Angulo. Codicelli along the far sideline. And Sparrow sends it over the touchline. Dolphins throw. That one, a great ball toward Mashcut, but he's offsides. And flag went up right away along the far sideline. On hockey, they often say the ice is tilted. Right now, it appears as if the pitch is tilted in the way of Staten Island. It has been all Dolphins early in the second half, and it appears as if John Tardy and his coaching staff have made some effective adjustments ahead of half number 2. We'll see if the Bears have a response. 27:40 on the clock. This is Angulo. Sends one toward his keeper, and Sissoko handles it no problem. Now Rofel moving toward midfield with some speed, and Peterson's redirection intercepted by Bloomfield, but Mashcut was definitely grabbed, and he knew it. I mean, that was as clear as it gets, and I thought the Bears might get away with that one, and no argument from Isaac Levi Rodriguez. He knew exactly what he was doing, and perhaps a wise play to slow down the Dolphins' attack. This is Mashcut to Rofel, and the Dolphins turn it over in the midfield. Ball has a man. That's Rodriguez. He's moving in, and Sparrow came charging down the middle of the pitch, and that draws the offsides flag. Sparrow, definitely an energetic player for this Bears team. He has been all over the place since checking in at the start of the second half, and he came sprinting right down the middle of the pitch into good scoring position, but a bit too quick on that run, drawing the offsides flag and bringing an end to that Bears attacking play. That's Carolou, dispossessed by Sparrow. Now Ball will look to make something of another attacking opportunity. He's working against Kashenko, the Dolphins' goal scorer. Ball credited with the assist on the lone Bears goal, and down goes Saya Zen of Bloomfield. Whistle blows, free kick taken immediately. Zen wasn't even up yet. As that cross is sent across the box, it winds up with Rodriguez. He's working against a pair of Dolphins, and Mashcut with a good job not to concede the corner. Good play there. And there's a good ball for Peterson, a bit strong on the touch. And two players converging. That was Sawchek and Rodriguez going down. Rodriguez came away with it. We have Jeffrey Rodriguez, who spells his last name with a Z, and Isaac Levi Rodriguez, who spells his last name with an S. And some hand fighting between Rodriguez and Majcut, and the official will speak to them. We saw those two come together when Rodriguez pulled Majcut down from behind, and Rodriguez with a smile on his face. Majcut does not appear amused. John Tardy was telling him to cut it out as that conversation took place with the official right in front of the Dolphins bench. Coach Tardy often very vocal on the Dolphins sideline, and on occasion that's to put it mildly. Not one to conceal his displeasure when he isn't happy with his team, as Angulo shoulders 0-2 straight down to the pitch, and Reyes with some aggressive retaliation perhaps, as Nathan Reyes just came charging in and leveled Jamali Peterson from behind. That did not draw a card, and if I'm not mistaken, Reyes may have had a card in the first half. A line for the Bears wall and a line for the free kick taker drawn by the official. Here's Bolger Basic's free kick. And once again, that's not close. As I do not envy our ball chaser. We'll have to track that one down in the vast wasteland expanse that is the former softball fields. They are now covered in grass. As we'll have a couple of substitutions. Ajoma Smith is in. Brendan McGuire's in as well for Staten Island. We do apologize for our camera feed suddenly cutting. I hope that was sudden. All right, it did just go out, so once again, we apologize. We're going to get that taken care of right now. Unfortunately for us, our camera operator is on the roof, so we'll have to climb a ladder to communicate with him, and Joe heads out there to do just that right now. So I'll call the action radio style for the next couple of minutes until our camera feed is restored. As the Bears have possession on the edge of the box, far sideline, working in the attacking third. Dolphins take possession and move along the far sideline toward midfield. Once again, an aggressive challenge by the Bears, and they have certainly turned up the physicality here in the second half, especially since that Dolphins goal, looking to impose their will on the Dolphins. CSI, so far, appears up to the challenge. Free kick taken by CSI and sent toward the attacking third, and our camera feed is restored, so thanks to Joe Masha for that, communicating with Sean Fitzpatrick on top of the press box. And the way the wind has been blowing here this afternoon, it certainly could take just one gust to dislodge our HDMI from the camera. Not the most secure input, unfortunately. As once again the flag goes up along the near sideline for offsides, and yet another free kick for the Dolphins. And I've been saying that quite a bit here in the second half. Leandro Angulo to take it, and he sends it to his fellow defenseman Kashenko. This is Bolger Basic up toward Angulo and intercepted by the Bears, but the Dolphins challenging aggressively, and they stifle that pass attempt in the midfield. Once again, it's Sawchek knocking it down. Throw in for Bloomfield. Rodriguez expressing his frustration. Chipped up in the air by Sawchek and headed by 0-2. Now headed by Rofel and again by 0-2. Two teams exchanging headers in the neutral zone, and looks like we have a foul call. It is against Bloomfield yet again. And unfortunately, we don't have a foul tally, but certainly a lopsided one, especially in the second half. Free kick taken off the left foot of Rofel. Kashenko was in the area, and Angulo is the Dolphin who got a foot on that one. He sent it high and wide. And Isaac Levi Rodriguez is jawing with just about every Dolphin who gets within an earshot of him, as he gave Kishenko a shove after Kishenko attempted the header and was saying something to him as both players jogged back up the pitch. So, as Clyde Frazier would say, Levi Rodriguez certainly pugnacious out there so far this afternoon. And he meets Angulo, who sent that one a long way. Another foul called against Bloomfield. And Dolphins have had free kick after free kick in the second half. And all of the attacking play has been to my left, just about. And the Bears look to change that right here. That ball for Reyes, now up to Sparrow, but couldn't kill it with that touch. And off of his foot, it wound up with Kishenko. Dolphins now moving toward midfield. Bulger Basic for Codicelli. Codicelli looking for McGuire, who was shoved down, but do we have an offsides flag or a foul call? It's a foul call. And the Bears are just doing whatever it is they want out there on the challenge. It's not really using the body. We've seen use of the hands, and they are committing foul after foul. It hasn't stopped for seemingly now the last 10 to 15 minutes at least. Another free kick in a very similar spot to where we saw Rofel attempt a free kick earlier. And the left-footed Dolphin takes the free kick toward the near post, and that's right into the arms of Cornell, who trucks Carolou. What a physical half of soccer this has been. Admittedly, a much more entertaining second half than first, as outside of the Bears' goal, there wasn't much in the way of attacking play. Unfortunately, if you're a fan of Bloomfield, all of the attacking play in the second half has been by the Dolphins. If you're a fan of CSI, you have to like what you've seen from the Staten Island team in half number 2. It's been a much better half for CSI than the first. This is Codicelli for Bulger Basic, and back to Angulo. Dolphins back line separating a bit here. Sawchek receives that pass. Sawchek for Rofel. Up to Codicelli. Zen meets him there, and it will be a Bears throw. Whistle blows, horn sounds, and Hermike Brooks is back in for Bloomfield. He replaces Robert Sparrow. Brooks taking his time as he leisurely strolls toward the far sideline. He will throw. Inside of 17 minutes to play in the second half. That's Zen, who is surrounded by Dolphins, and that one sent just wide of goal. Shots on goal, 4 per side. Corner kicks, 3-2 in favor of CSI. I don't have a foul tally, but if I did, I think it's a safe bet to say it's skewed heavily in favor of the Dolphins, as Kishenko getting it done at the defensive end as well. Dispossessing Levi Rodriguez as we have another collision along the near sideline. That time it was Angulo going down, and the official lets play continue. Peterson in the midst of several Bears cannot escape with possession. That was Koslowski for Brooks. It winds up with McGuire, who crosses. Can Angulo keep it in? Yes, he can. And the Bears bench certainly didn't think so. Bears head coach Didier Orellana was pleading his case as a yellow card once again has been issued. I think it was against Jacob Martinez. That's our 4th yellow card of the game. Bears clear it toward midfield. That was off the foot of Koslowski. Headed by Levi Rodriguez. And now a pair of Dolphins heading it forward. Down goes Rofale. The official had his back to it. As Sawcheck challenges, and good job there to keep it in by Smith. Or did he? No, he didn't. Good effort by Smith to try and keep it in. He could not keep that ball in play. Bolger Basic for Kishenko. Up to Rofale and redirected toward the far sideline. Carolou giving chase. It is sent up in the air by Brooks and headed by Reyes. Sliding attempt by Sawcheck, and good idea there on the through ball from Smith. He was looking for ball, but Kishenko all over it. Kishenko's had himself quite the day once again. As the whistle blows and the foul is called. Another foul against Bloomfield. Free kick upcoming for the Dolphins, and Reyes did not want to give Angulo any space. He now backs off, and Leandro sends it short to Bolger Basic. Up to Rofale. Rofale might be looking to shoot here, and O2 commits the foul. The whistle blows, and we are going to have a red card against O2. That is his 2nd yellow of the game, and he is finished on the afternoon. The clock stops at 13:42, and now players from both teams either jawing at one another or listening in on what the official has to say. I'm not exactly sure. Jamali Peterson unhappy with at least one Bear as he pleads his case, and Randy O2's day is over. Waiting to check in is Matisse Seguil. Seguil, the goal scorer off the pass on the cross earlier in the game from Quincy Ball. That goal was scored with about 15 minutes into the game. It's only an approximation. I would guess probably in the 16th or 17th minute. Free kick taken by Rofale, knocked down in the middle of the box and sent over the far sideline. Dolphins to throw. Bryant Navarro will check in for CSI, and Matisse Seguil will check in for Isaac Levi Rodriguez.
Substitution for the Bears, entering number 11, Matisse Seguil. Replaces number 17, Isaac Levy Rodriguez.
Well, it appears as if the red card that was issued may have been in error, as Randy O2 is still out there. So he was shown the red card, but perhaps the official made a mistake. And with that being his first card, it would be a yellow. We didn't get any clarification that I know of, but O2 is still out there. So we remain 11 on 11 for now, as that one was sent toward the near post into a dangerous spot, but Cornell was there waiting. Cornell immediately punts out to midfield. Angulo heads toward Daniel Angulo. And we have another one coming up toward the window here in the booth, and that's a few feet short. That's the second time that a soccer ball has been sent in our direction. They're laughing next door. I think Sal was ready for that one, as unfortunately they can't hear me with the door closed, but I tried to draw a reaction out of our statistician, Sal Caruso. Goal kick is the call, and both teams appeared befuddled as now the ball is being tossed up in the air toward Angulo for perhaps a free kick. It didn't seem anybody knew what the call was, and the call is corner kick Staten Island. So they finally get that sorted out. We had, there's a throw-in. And that's what happens when you have a poor viewing angle from the booth, as I cannot see into the left corner. Whistle blows once again, and this time we have a corner. This corner, CSI's fourth, to be taken just inside of 11:20 to play in the second half. Our score knotted up at 1. Fans making a little bit of noise in front of me in the top row as Angulo's ball is into the center of the box, headed away by the Bears. That was row fail, and a good job there by Angulo to slow down Bloomfield, looking to counter. This is Carolou working against O2, who dispossesses him. Zagil for Zen. Navarro chasing down Zen from behind. Down goes Ball, but that's onto the foot of Smith. For Ball on the pass. Foul committed, perhaps. No whistle as Ball went down. And the way that the Bloomfield bench reacted, they thought for sure they were about to get a foul call, perhaps a penalty kick. Looked like both players are making a break for that ball. You see that go either way on a match-by-match basis as now Carolou crosses into the middle. Angulo got a foot on it, but he was in between 3 Bears and really had nothing he could do. Here's Sawcheck. 10 minutes to play in the second half, and should this game go to overtime, it would be our second overtime broadcast of the year. The first, a women's soccer broadcast, but we still have 9:45 until that point. As the clock is stopped again, this time it's Nathan Reyes who is chastised by the official. Edgar Torres lined up over the ball to take this free kick. He's telling Jacob Martinez to move up a bit. Dolphins may want to watch Martinez as the ball is sent toward the top of the box, headed up in the air by Sawcheck and cleared away by Codicelli. This is Brooks for the Bears, working against several Dolphins. Now Codicelli. Back to Koshenko, who sends it toward the back line of Bloomfield. Martinez to his keeper. Here comes Brendan McGuire. Cornell. Dangerous play there as McGuire was allowed to get very close. A lot of support for the Dolphins below me to my left. Press box about 5 to 10 feet above the back row where our spectators are seated. As Zagil gives chase, he has space. He also has a man. That was Smith. And if that ball is on target, it is certainly trouble. Joma Smith was left wide open, making a run toward the far post. The Dolphins would not have had an answer if that ball had found him. But it was a bit too long, and the Dolphins will move forward toward the attacking third. That was Carolou. Gives it up. Now Sawcheck to Angulo. Angulo back to Sawcheck. Daniel Angulo up to McGuire. He looks to turn, and he was grabbed. And that one might have been missed. McGuire's jersey was aggressively tugged by Edgar Torres. And McGuire was pleading his case immediately. He would know better than anyone. Though I have to say, he might be a bit biased. Certainly more so than I am. As that one rolls along the near sideline, and Torres will let it go. Throw in for Bloomfield. 7:30 to play in the second half. And Torres will give way to Jacob Martinez for this throw-in. Throw off the head of Sawcheck. That was Carolou for Rofale. Here comes Codicelli. His cross cleared away by Reyes. Dolphins have it. Down goes a Dolphin. That was Carolou. Sawcheck for McGuire, and that ball far too strong. Stephen Branco will check in for Dolphins captain Daniel Angulo. Clock ticks inside of 6 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the second half. We are still tied at 1 here at Dolphins Soccer Park. Men's soccer in search of their first victory of the season. Here comes Zagil. Angulo trying to dribble it out of the zone. Good challenge by Angulo. Not called for a foul, and looks like Brendan McGuire might have tweaked the ankle right there. I think he stepped on the foot of Jacob Martinez. Martinez will be the thrower for Bloomfield. Inside of 6 minutes to play. Throw in towards Smith. He's in between a pair of Dolphins. CSI will clear. Headed up in the air by Torres over the touchline. Branco to throw. He looks to take the throw quickly. And will think better of it and allow Sawcheck to throw. Sawcheck for Carolou. Carolou working against Martinez, and once again it's over the touchline. This time it is Sawcheck who threw that last ball in. Now Carolou for Bolja Basic. Navarro redirects toward Branco, and immediately cut off in the box was Branco, and off of that deflection, we will have a Bears throw. Torres taking his time, getting set for this throw-in. Inside of 5 minutes to play, and once again, Torres will give way to Martinez. Whistle blows, and they will move Martinez back. He got a few extra steps in there. And the official was having none of it. I think he just did the same exact thing again, but they'll let him get away with it. As Sawcheck, I think, was attempting a shot, but that certainly isn't what he wanted to do regardless, and it's a goal kick for Bloomfield. This is Brooks. Brooks for Zen, and he gets by Codicelli, and Codicelli tugs on the jersey, and that may draw a yellow card, and that's a tough call against the Dolphins, as McGuire clearly had his jersey tugged just a couple of minutes ago. They don't call that foul. Instead, they get Codicelli for the jersey tug, and that's another yellow. I think that's 5 or 6 now. Busy day for the official. As that ball is sent in toward the box, off of ball, and Sissoko looks a bit shaken up perhaps, but he's to his feet. And that was a very dangerous ball that Ball was able to get a body on. Goal kick up coming for Staten Island as we approach 3.5 minutes to go in half number 2. Overtime rules, 2 10-minute overtime periods should we get that far. Golden goal rule in effect. First goal wins it in either overtime period. Dolphins hoping it doesn't make it that far, and I'm sure the Bears hoping the same if they're on the positive end of what would be a potential game-winning goal in the final 3 minutes. Flag goes up again, whistle blows, and we've spent a lot of time sorting out whistles in the second half, and a foul was called against the Dolphins immediately following the throw-in. CSI has it as they send it back to their keeper, Sissoko. Sissoko out toward midfield for O2. O2 heads it right back to Staten Island. This is Rofale. Rofale for Codicelli. He's met by Brooks. CSI throw in 2.5 to play. Horn sounds. Dolphin substitution. Or not. Perhaps. Yes, Dolphin substitution as Figueroa heads on and Bulger Basic comes off.
Entering for the Dolphins, number 13, Brandon Figueroa. He replaces number 28, Norman Bolshevik.
Well, that substitution alone saw about 40 seconds come off the clock before this Dolphins throw-in. McGuire working against Brooks. That one cleared by Koslowski. This is Sawchek. 1:40 to play as Rofale sends it toward Codicelli. Good ball, right on target. Codicelli working toward the middle of the pitch. Not sure where he wants to go with it yet, as Figueroa is challenged by Otu. And you can see Randy Otu is being very careful after being shown a yellow card earlier. The official then pulled out the red, but apparently he had mistaken as it was Otu's first card. He's allowed to remain in the game. 1:10 to go as there's another tumble taken by a Dolphin following a Bears challenge. But CSI maintains possession. That one sent toward goal and off the crossbar. The Dolphins nearly coming away with what would have been a go-ahead goal with 1 minute to play. What a shot attempt there as that sent toward the middle of the box. And I think that was Rofale who nearly put CSI in front. What a shot attempt as Kashenko moves in toward the far post, and that one is off the head of Sawchek. What a last 30 seconds for Staten Island as they look to take the lead. And I think Cornell is going to take his sweet time on this goal kick and let this last 20 seconds run off the clock, sending us to overtime. Cornell certainly has the leg to send it well beyond midfield, and I'm sure he'll do just that. He does, and we will be headed to overtime, barring a miracle shot there, as that one just missed the windshield. And we are headed to overtime here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Be sure to join us back here on the ECC Network in just a couple of minutes as we will begin overtime number 1. Our score even between Staten Island and Bloomfield. 1 goal per side, and after this break, extra time from the College of Staten Island. And we're back here on the ECC Network, about to begin the first of potentially 2 overtimes from the College of Staten Island in this NCAA Division II men's soccer matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the Bloomfield College Bears. For the Bears, they struck first in this game, scoring in the first half to go ahead 1-0. That goal was assisted by Quincy Ball and scored by Matisse Seguil. A cross from the near sideline to the far post on the attack by the Bears, creating that goal for Bloomfield. And for the Dolphins in the second half, it was off of a corner that they registered their lone goal of the game. The corner kick was taken, I believe, by Michael Rofale, and he found the head of Nicholas Kashenko. Kashenko registering his first goal of the season, the 6'4" Dolphins defenseman putting CSI on the board and evening things up in the second half. And we head to overtime number 1, golden goal rule in effect. 1 score wins it for either side, 10 minutes on the clock. And if we do not have a golden goal at the end of 2 10-minute overtime periods, this game will end in a tie. For the Bears, it would be their second tie of the season. They come in 1-3-1, and a victory for the Dolphins would be their first. A tie would also be their first of the season. CSI comes in 0-4. 2 teams huddling up, and during the pregame, I do reference what is on the left side of your screen and the right side of your screen, but that's assuming that our camera feed is viewing the pitch the same way I am and taking a look over toward our screen. It's the Dolphins huddled up right now on your screen, but to the left of midfield, the Bears huddled up as well, and we will get underway in the first overtime with the Dolphins moving right to left on the attack, the Bears left to right. So the same as we saw in the second half. A very physical second half that saw numerous foul calls against the Bears. Just like the first half, 1 goal up on the scoreboard. In half number 2, that goal belonged to Staten Island. In the first half, it belonged to Bloomfield, and that's what brings us to this overtime, knotted up at 1. Bears have it first. As Sebastian Salazar, wearing number 30, checks in for the first time for Bloomfield. And taking a look at the Dolphins out there on the pitch, I don't believe any Dolphin has checked in for the first time. And that is not the first time Martinez has attempted to get a few extra strides on that throw-in. He finds ball on the throw, but the Dolphins take possession immediately. That's Navarro up to Codicelli. Codicelli for Keralou working against Brooks. And a foul is called, and I think that's against Keralou. That's the right call, as he had an arm around the waist of Brooks. Bears play it back to their keeper, Cornell. He gives it up to Torres, back to Cornell. McGuire continuing to press as Cornell with one of his weaker kicks of the afternoon. We haven't seen many of those. And the afternoon has bled into evening as we reach the 6 o'clock mark here at the College of Staten Island, or at least thereabouts, 5:57 on my iPad. As that's deflected over the far sideline a long way by the Dolphins, and they will throw in, I should say, by the Bears. CSI will throw. Codicelli to throw in for Navarro, and Codicelli gets it right back. That's Rofael for Figueroa. Back to Kishenko, and he sends one toward the box in the direction of McGuire, but it's cleared away by Koslowski. That's Angulo heading it toward Figueroa. Figueroa sends it toward Branco. That header lands right in front of McGuire. Dolphins very accurate with those redirections. Now Navarro has some space, and that space is closed very quickly by the Bears in the back. Zen for Brooks towards Salazar, and Salazar moving forward with some speed, but as has been the case all match, Kishenko is there. Kishenko was challenged by Salazar, and that one was sent over the far sideline by the Bears. Dolphins to throw. CSI with possession as they send it back to Angulo. Up to Sawchek. Sawchek moving toward the middle of the pitch. Sends it far sideline. That's Codicelli. Now Keralou. Rofael has some space off the pass from Keralou, but he is challenged by Ball. Ball not giving in. And he wins possession for a moment on the challenge and will keep it before Rofael takes it away again. Branco moving into the box. And that one is sent, I believe, off of Branco, which will result in a goal kick. Cornell up to Brooks. Brooks sends it back to, I believe, Torres. No, it's not Torres. That is Reyes, the intended recipient. But the Dolphins come away with possession, and this is Figueroa in the midfield circle for Rofael. Over to Keralou, redirected onto the foot of Rofael, who was dispossessed, and Keralou gets it right back. He retreats a few strides and gives it up to Angulo. Angulo sends it near sideline for Sawchek. Now Keralou for Angulo. Angulo moving forward. He found Navarro and receives the pass back from Bryant Navarro. Was looking for Navarro again. Ball winds up with McGuire. McGuire working against Martinez. He has Sawchek, and Sawchek tried to send it toward the top of the box. There was nobody home. This is Salazar. The Dolphins bench urging their back line back on defense as Kishenko shoulders Zagil off of the ball. That elicits quite the cheer from the crowd. The Bears wanted a foul call. They don't get it, and that was some shoulder off the ball by Kishenko. We now have a Bear down ahead of midfield. Dolphins on the attack. And this may stop play right here. Though O2 is back to his feet. That was Randy O2 who went down. And the official lets the Bears know they will need to substitute here. 4:38 to play in the first overtime. Once again, golden goal rule in effect. One score wins it for either team. Shots on goal now 5-4 in favor of the Dolphins, and the Bears did not have a single shot on goal in the second half. At the break, if I'm not mistaken, it was 4-3 shots on goal in favor of Bloomfield College. Dolphins taking over the lead in that category. The Dolphins also storming out in front in corner kicks 5-2 after not having a corner kick at all in the first half. It is associate head coach Alex Cuba having a word with the Dolphins out on the pitch. Cuba assuming that title ahead of this season. Quite the extensive coaching staff for men's soccer. During the pregame, didn't realize there was a second line full of assistant coaches. Almost missed those final three names. Now Randy O2 gingerly walking off. And yeah, based upon the way he's walking off, I think I know exactly what happened, and it's not good for O2. And at best, it's a groin injury. I'll leave it at that. As the Dolphins return to the pitch, still some Bears coaches out there. As we await the resumption of this match. Quite a lengthy break there, allowing O2 to exit the field. We resume with the Dolphins throw-in. Sawcheck to take it, looking for McGuire, and I thought McGuire got a foot on that, but the officials thought otherwise, ruling that it was a Bear that last touched it. Dolphins throw. This is Figueroa for Rofail. He was looking for Sawcheck. Intercepting was Reyes. Couldn't keep it in. And the Dolphins will throw. Figueroa off of the throw-in. Finds Branco, and Branco immediately swarmed by Bears. As that's sent up in the air onto the foot of Cotticelli. Cotticelli for Navarro. Up to Carolou. Carolou for Navarro, and he gets it right back. Now Kishenko switches play toward the near sideline, and intercepting with the head was Zagil. That's Rofail for Angulo. Angulo barely avoiding that challenge from Zagil, and that may have put the Dolphins in a tough spot. Looks like the Dolphins are playing right now with only two backs. Or at least two in the very back, and then a couple more defenders positioned out in front of them. It's always tough to get a good look at the defensive alignment once the action gets going. Long ball. Giving chase was Carolou. Couldn't get there. I'm not sure Carolou has come off the pitch this entire match. The same goes for Angulo and Kishenko. It's been a long day for that trio. Brooks to throw in for Bloomfield with 2:30 on the clock in this first overtime. That's Torres. Up to Zagil, and Torres almost didn't get there in time to receive that ball back, and it's sent over the near sideline. Bears throw. Martinez to ball, and that's sent into the stands once again. Martinez, long throw up towards Salazar. He heads it back to midfield where Navarro was waiting. He couldn't come away with it, and he deflects it off of ball. We approach 1.5 minutes remaining in the first overtime. Sawchek will throw. Sawchek throws to Figueroa in the middle of the pitch. Good spot, redirected for Keralou. And McGuire just had a little too much on it. But a great idea by the Dolphins there. They got that attacking play started quickly. And sometimes it takes a bit of luck on a deflection like that. With Keralou breaking into the box, McGuire really couldn't see him. He had his back to him and tried to redirect. And in a situation like that, you have to get a little bit lucky. Kashenko sends one toward the top of the box, and Brooks tracks it down. Brooks up to Reyes. Dolphins once again take it back. Navarro for McGuire, and he's offsides. Well, there wasn't much doubt about that one, and I'm not sure McGuire expected the attacking play to develop that quickly. He wasn't necessarily showing any urgency getting back on sides, and he paid for it. 30 seconds to go in this first overtime. Dolphins look like they're going to have the last attacking opportunity, as that is sent up toward Branco, headed away into the Bears bench. 13 seconds on the clock. Sawchek to throw as we count down from 10 here at Dolphin Soccer Park. McGuire is stifled as he looked to send it in toward the middle of the box. And that wraps up the first overtime period from the College of Staten Island. We are still looking for a golden goal in this match between Bloomfield and CSI. 3 minutes up on the clock, and once that clock hits 0, I'll rejoin you here on the ECC Network for more NCAA Division II men's soccer. Bears and Dolphins tied at 1. And we're back here on the ECC Network. It appears we might get started just a bit early as there was about a minute on the clock, but with both teams ready to resume action, the clock is set to 10 minutes, and second overtime has begun from Dolphin Soccer Park. CSI looking for a golden goal and their first win of the season. The Bears looking for their second victory. Free kick for the Dolphins very early in overtime number 2, and they had plenty of free kicks in the second half of this game as well. As Cotticelli redirects for Rofale, up to Daniel Angulo, who's back in, and that's sent way out of play by Brooks. Good ball into the middle of the box by Figueroa, was headed away by the Bears and winds up back at the midfield stripe, and Angulo just got rid of it in time as that's headed by Sawchek onto the foot of Keralou. It winds up back with Sawchek, who chips it up in the air again. McGuire, the Dolphin there waiting, working against Martinez, and it's over the touchline. Bears throw. Throw in taken immediately, headed by Sawchek, now headed by McGuire. Angulo sends it up to Angulo. And Daniel Angulo nearly came away with it, but Peterson there to back him up. And this is Brooks up to Ball. Ball against Kishenko. And Sissoko wisely comes out and scoops that ball up. 8:15 to go in the second overtime. Sissoko sends a punt toward the near sideline, and it bounces out of play. Bears to throw. Brooks awaiting a ball, and he gets one. Throw toward Ball, and found a nice opening there in the Dolphins' defense. Up to Salazar, who tried to redirect for Ball, and Sissoko will clear. 3 players there waiting, and they all collide on it. No one got ahead on it. It just falls down in the midfield circle. The Bears get possession. That ball towards Salazar is headed by Angulo. Figueroa tracks it down, but Zen is all over him. Both players fighting for it. And it's Cotticelli who emerges with possession for Staten Island. Up to McGuire. McGuire for Angulo, and that's out of play. Throw in for Bloomfield. Clock ticks inside of 7 minutes to play in the second overtime. Brooks to throw. And that long throw onto the foot of Cotticelli of CSI. Challenged by Zen. Kishenko winds up with it. Sends it up to Rofale. Rofale for Daniel Angulo. Plays McGuire through. And McGuire has some space. Sends it into the middle of the box, and that's blocked. He had Peterson, but a good defensive play there by Edgar Torres to break up that attacking play. And that's certainly the best opportunity for either team in these 2 overtimes. Rofale sends one wide for Peterson. Here comes Zagil. He's being chased, and he was moving too quickly for his own good there as the ball rolls over the touchline. Sawchek, who is challenging, will throw. Sawchek for Angulo. Back to Sawchek. Along the far sideline, he sends it toward Peterson. And now Peterson has it. Here comes Jamali with some speed. His cross is blocked, but that will be a Dolphins corner. The first corner kick for either team in these 2 overtime periods. Daniel Angulo will take it. And you can see Isaac Levi Rodriguez is all over Nicholas Kishenko. McGuire heads it right off the face of Levi Rodriguez. And the Dolphins able to get possession of it. Angulo has some space here. He crosses one in toward the middle of the box. It rolls past Peterson onto the foot of Rofale and in. The Dolphins have scored the golden goal. Michael Rofale gets one by Robert Cornell inside of the post, and the Dolphins have won it, their first victory of the season. What a job by CSI staying with that play, and it was Daniel Angulo who crossed it toward Jamali Peterson. It was redirected onto the foot of Michael Rofale. He put it past Cornell and into the back of the net. Dolphins win it 2-1. It took 5 matches for CSI to get into the win column, but they do it in thrilling fashion here at home at Dolphin Soccer Park. They will send the fans home happy for the first time this year. Once again, Michael Rofale with the game-winning goal, and we could see it from up here. Head coach John Tardy grinning ear to ear as he gets congratulations from baseball head coach Mike Morrow. Several Dolphins coaches along the sidelines during this match, and they offer Coach Tardy and the team congratulations as the Dolphins come up with their first victory of the year, 2-1 over the Bloomfield College Bears. That goal scored in the 6th minute of the second overtime period by Michael Rofale, assisted by Daniel Angulo, possibly a second assist credited to Jamali Peterson. I'm not sure if he got a piece of it. We will consult with our statistician once we go off the air, so you can check out the official final scoring online at csidolphins.com. But what a way to wrap up this game. Dolphins score the golden goal in the second overtime to win it 2-1. The second time we have seen Dolphins soccer win a game in the second overtime period of a match this season. And we can see the Dolphins championship belt draped over the shoulders of John Tardy. We'll get a look at who it is that receives that belt if we're still with you here on the air after the Dolphins huddle up following handshakes with Bloomfield. And Bloomfield in this match took a 1-0 lead, but in the second half, attacking play, all CSI, as the Dolphins scored the tying goal in the second half, then the game-winning goal in the second overtime. So we'll wait with you just a few minutes and see who is awarded that gold belt. I'm curious, as I'm sure our viewers will be as well, and it's going to be Leandro Angulo on the receiving end of the belt. And once again, we apologize as our camera feed appears to have cut. Not exactly sure how or why, as I'm downstairs and it appears as if our camera operator shut off the camera, and we apologize for that as we're going to try and get our camera feed back, but I'll stay with you here as the Dolphins huddle up to the right of midfield. And spoiler alert, from what I've been told, is Leandro Angulo will be awarded the gold belt. And I mentioned Angulo's name several times throughout the match. He typically, from what I've seen, has played the full 90 minutes out on the pitch in matches this season. Didn't come off today. Didn't come off in the last match we covered here on Sportsnet. Nicholas Kashenko also not coming off the pitch much, as I think he played the full 90 today and in the last match we covered against Nyack as well. So the Dolphins exiting the field, Bloomfield cooling down in front of the Dolphins' goal on the left side of midfield. So with that, we will wrap up today's broadcast. Dolphins pick up the 2-1 victory over the Bears as our camera feed does return. And, well, perhaps just a bit late on that one, but in time to sign off as once again our final score 2-1 in favor of the College of Staten Island. They defeat the Bloomfield College Bears for their first victory of the 2021 season. This has been Joe Foreman, and for all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. Our next broadcast will be this Saturday. Dolphins take on Queens College. Once again, we're not sure if we will have commentary for that match. We will find out closer to game day, but we will certainly have that game for you on the ECC network. If you can't attend the game, be sure to join us here on the ECC network. Enjoy the rest of your week until then.